Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Kari and today I'm doing my January book haul. First of all, I really like my hoodie and it's really cold outside because there's wind in North Dakota. If you haven't lived here, the running joke in the state is that it's so flat you can see your dog run away for 3 days. And we're only being slightly facetious. The other thing about that flatness is that the wind comes in because there is absolutely nothing to stop it. So the wind chill is incredibly cold. Anyway, since I am originally from Colorado, I found a hoodie that says it. I really like this hoodie, and also it's cold outside, guys. But enough of me complaining weather. Let's get into the books I got or bought this month. This one is a Treasury of Irish Tales. I got this one from one of my friends up here at law school. She saw it and didn't think I had a lot about Ireland or its tales, and I don't. So she got me this for Christmas, and then since we didn't see each other in December, really, you know, finals and all that fun stuff, she gave it to me when we got back to class at the beginning of the month. I, first of all, think this is beautiful. I haven't read anything in it yet, but it's got poetry and short stories, including some by James Joyce and some more known Irish authors. Basically, I know maybe two of them. Bram Stoker and James Joyce. But I'm really excited to get into this because, first of all, it is beautiful, and second of all, it's fun to read stuff I don't know anything about. The next book I got is Batman Nightwalker by Marie Lu. This is the second in the superhero series, I guess, that's written by several different authors. The first one was Wonder Woman, something about war, by Leigh Bardugo, which I don't have and didn't read, but this one I bought because I love Batman. Love him. And I haven't read it yet. I meant to, and then forgot about it because it's on the back of my shelves. My books are all double shelved since I don't have a lot of room in North Dakota. Anyway, I'm hoping to get to this in February because it shouldn't take me very long. Maybe I'll just sit down one night and fly through it. I also bought Everless by Sarah Holland. This is about a world where time is currency, so poor people have to sell off the time that's in their blood, and there's alchemy involved to make that into hard currency that you apparently melt in your tea or just eat like candy, and then that gives you more time. So the rich people have all this time because they just, you know, steal it from the poor people, basically. But this was a really interesting book. I read it, and you will see more in my January wrap-up. Then, one of my most anticipated releases of this year, which came out January 2nd, was The Forgotten Book by Mechthild Glaser. This is the second in a sort of series, or at least I'm considering it a series, the first one of which is Book Jumper, which I read last January. The Forgotten Book is about a girl in Germany. She's going to a boarding school there in a castle, which is, first of all, just fantastic. Second of all, she finds this book, and she starts writing in it because it seems to have been a diary to multiple people over centuries. But suddenly she realizes that what she writes in the diary comes true. So it's her figuring out how to wield the book and then all the consequences of that. Again, you'll see this one in my January wrap-up because I read this one pretty quickly. Loved it. I also bought The Round House by Louise Erdrich. This was the January pick for Joss over at Scribbles Reads book club for January. This follows a young Ojibwe boy on a North Dakota reservation after his mother is raped. His father is a tribal court judge, and all three of them have to learn to cope with what happened. The book shows the complexities of Indian law incredibly well, I thought, especially because Indian law is so complex. There's different rules depending on if you're on state land or Indian land or federal land, and then who's doing what to who, and just everything that Indian law involves. Every aspect of it changes something. So I really liked that, but again, more of this in my wrap-up. Overall, it was not my favorite book. I also got The Whistler by John Grisham. My dad gave me this one in December technically, but since I didn't get it up here till January, I'm going to count it. But this one is a legal sort of mystery. There is the Board of Judicial Conduct, which the Board of Judicial Conduct looks at judges specifically being part of the judiciary and makes sure that they're acting under the ethical code that the ABA enforces. while lawyers are generally portrayed as snakes, we actually do have to follow an ethical code, so we're not all as serpentine as public media would portray us. Anyway, they're looking into a crooked judge in this book, and there's also a reservation and a lot of Indian law involved in this one, which I found very interesting as well. And then the last book that I both bought and read in January, if you'll notice the trend, is Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race by Rennie Edo-Lodge. This is basically racism in Great Britain. She goes through the history of sort of the slave trade and the diversity that is in Great Britain today, and then continues on to discuss why racism is still there, even though quite often people say we live in a race-less society, even though we don't. Colorblind, that's the word. We live in a colorblind society, even though we definitely do not. Like I said, more in my January wrap-up, but this was a really good book. It was incredibly easy to read, and I highly recommend it if you get a chance. So those are the books I bought in January. I'll link my January wrap-up down below, so if you want to check out my thoughts more in depth on these books, you can do that without me duplicating what I say. That's all I have. I will leave my Goodreads link down below. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up down below, and if you want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button down below. Until my next video, bye!